Hi everyone, Eric Campese here with Stroth DC. I have Carrie with me.
Hi.
And I just wanted her to share her experience of her scoliosis journey, but more interestingly kind of capture some of the questions that I typically get here revolving around pregnancy, before, during, and after, just what that experience is like going through that with somebody that has scoliosis. So just to kind of start, when were you diagnosed? What was that initial stage like for you?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was about 11 years old.
Okay.
And it was through like gym class when they do those screenings. And at the time, the main prescription was considering surgery or bracing because my curve was pretty
Do you remember what the numbers were?
aggressive. Probably like 30, I want to
30-ish?
say.
Okay.
Yeah, by the time they caught it.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it was less than 30 and then it was a wait and see. And
then it progressed. Gotcha,
like,
one
now
of
that I
those.
think
Okay,
about
yeah.
Yes. So as we wait and saw, it got more progressed. And I think at that point, that was what was discussed. And after much perseveration, that we went the brace route. And I wore that for a couple of, I think like 2 years.
Okay. Why did you decide to go with bracing?
Yeah. So, when we looked at, and I was so young when all of this happened, but a lot of this was through like talking with my parents and my doctors, the prognosis, at least for the curve type and the degree that it was at the time, didn't seem more positive with surgery.
Okay.
And the recovery time, like pulling me out of school and all of that.
Now, but like, how did you feel wearing the brace? Like, were you like, all right, yeah, this is something I got to do? Were your parents like, you don't have a choice? Or were you like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm open to this. Because that's something a lot of our patients, the kids, wrestle with is like, I don't want to wear that thing.
Yeah. I think when you get the diagnosis, there's a part inside of you that sort of, knows you have to do it.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't like fight my parents on it or anything like that. I think I just was like, okay, I think I understand. And like, I think a part of me understood that it was a lifelong situation. And so
You're good.
I still feel that little girl sometimes. Yeah. She's still very much like alive inside of me. So I didn't fight them much on it. I kind of just was like, okay, it is what it is.
Was the brace helpful for you?
Ultimately, yeah, like it really slowed things down.
Okay. Would you go back and go through that process again if you had to?
Yes, and I would think I would add, because there's so much you can do at that point in your life when you're in that period of growth. As hard as it is, like that's the time.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to make progress as you get older. So I think I would have done the brace again, and I would have done more like Stroth. And I didn't know about Stroth then.
Okay. So then, were you an active kid?
Yes.
So what did you do?
Yeah, I played field hockey.
Awesome.
I walked and ran with my friends. I went to the gym. I ski.
Do you feel like that helped you as well?
I did dance. Yes, I do. I think being active only helps you become aware of your body in motion.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keeps the stiffness at bay.
Yeah.
Although there is a point when you can go a little too far, I found, and it increases that stiffness.
Okay.
But I think I've found that balance a lot more easily as an adult. Like, yes, I need to push myself, but also I need to like listen to what's happening. And I think when I had scoliosis, I just wanted to tune it out because I really didn't want it to be happening.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, what happened after the brace? What was that kind of next period life as you transitioned? High school, college?
Oh my gosh. I remember just feeling so free when I got that thing off. I was like, oh, happy day.
Yes.
Like, this is great.
Yep.
I didn't do much, honestly, after that, other than staying active, but I didn't do much in the way of scoliosis. I just honestly wanted to forget about it.
Yep.
So I think I found it to be ultimately an empowering experience when I look back, but at the time I felt really free. I went to college. I lived my life.
Did you have any pain?
Yes, I did. I did. And I managed that with ibuprofen mostly and Tylenol.
And then what moment out of your life were you like, all right, maybe I should do something about this? And then maybe you came across Schroth in some way. What was that? How did that pan out?
Yeah. So like in my early 20s, I was doing a lot of half marathons. I was running, still staying active. Wow. Yeah. And I started to get hurt more often.
Okay.
I got tendonitis.
Wow.
I had to wear a boot for a couple of weeks. I just got a couple of like wake up calls like that. Nothing super serious, but enough that it was kind of sidelining me. And I was feeling some changes in my body that were causing me to say, okay, what does scoliosis have a role in this? You know, it's not something that's off to the side. It's a part of me. So what's its role in like my aging and how I'm taking care of myself?
Perfect. So that kind of led you to explore and come across Schroth.
Correct.
And then you were doing Schroth somewhere else?
Correct. Yeah, in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver. Cool. And then how was that experience?
It was interesting, very different from here.
Okay. How was it different? I think that's great.
It was like 3 of us or 4 of us that would do it all at the same time.
Okay,
and it
so
was like, honestly, this tiny like Indian lady, like breath coaching us in such an intense way. Like she'd be like down, we'd get in these positions, you know, with the bean bags and the belt and the whole thing. And then she'd be like, and breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Okay. And exhale. And she'd just be kind of like, breath coaching us really intensely for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we do like wobble chairs and other stations and stuff like that. And they had a chair that you'd sit in. And
all right.
So.
And then how is this experience compared to that? Is this, like anything here that you connect to a little bit differently there?
Yeah, I think here it's a little bit more soft.
Okay.
And like.
Dang, you calling me soft?
No. Gentle, I guess, which is funny because you're a man coaching us and she was a woman coaching, so it's like actually kind of funny.
Okay.
And more, I guess, just there's more ways to apply it at home.
Okay.
Which I really enjoy.
So just a little bit more creativity, a little bit more options, a little bit more flexibility in the program and how you integrate this. Because I think one of the things I always try to do here is how do you make this more of a lifestyle as opposed to, hey, here's your home program that you're doing.
Yes.
Where I'm more like, all right, what's going to actually work for you?
Yes.
How many days a week can you do this? How much time? Are you the person that can have 30 minutes to do this, or are you only, hey, I got 3, that's it? Man, so you've had this long journey. This is great. So then as you've come here, how has your symptoms been?
My symptoms have been much better.
Cool.
And I'm able to be active. Like it used to be like, oh, I'd get more active and then the symptoms would get worse. So I'd be less active.
Yeah. Because you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
And then we had maybe some downtime in activity because you had a son.
Yeah, that too.
So what was like? You have this decent sized curve. You've been through this whole journey, this whole process, and now going into pregnancy or being pregnant. Like, what was was your curve at all a concern for you?
Yes, it was a huge concern.
And what was that? Was it like?
Am I strong enough to hold extra weight? You know, that much extra weight here. What will that, or like, what will it do to the curve when I put that weight on it?
Okay. Yeah.
Will it just kind of pull it more into
that's interesting.
Its issues?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm always thinking about like, am I passing this down to my kids? Time tells on that kind of stuff, but it wasn't enough where I was like, oh, I'm not going to have kids. This isn't something that.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of pain or increases in pain when you were pregnant?
So actually, I think pregnancy was this weird, like magical thing where I was so stretchy and like bendy because of the hormones. I didn't have a ton of pain. I have like a lot of pelvic pressure and like regular pregnancy pain, but I definitely didn't feel anything unique to scoliosis. I worked really hard on opening my pelvis and I did a lot of stuff every day. So I don't know if that would have changed things if I hadn't.
Yeah. And then after you gave birth, what was that like for you just in terms of obviously all the celebration and then the loss of sleep and all this other stuff that's going on, but in terms of how your body felt maybe 6-8 weeks after when you were maybe thinking about your curve again, were you concerned about anything? I think that's when you and I kind of met was after that.
Yes. Yes, that was right after that. Yeah, so I was breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I was nervous. So my son had like a bit of a head turning preference
Okay.
and a bit of a certain kind of way he liked
Yeah.
to be latched.
Yes. That's a challenge
For lack of a
from visualizing my wife and
Yes.
having conversations about that at home.
Yeah. So that was like big in the beginning. It's like, you know, when they're newborns, they need to eat like every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like life support, just like getting the baby latched. And so I was feeding him crossbody on one side and feeding him football style on the other side.
Okay.
And I was worried that and the way I had to kind of position my body would change depending on what breast he was feeding off of. And so I was really concerned about, like, I was like, oh, I'm feeding into my curve pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. But it's amazing that you had the Schroff kind of background to kind of capture that.
Yes.
And then I imagine too, even just like holding your son, like having that favorite side pelvis to just pop out and launch him there because it's convenient, it's easy, it's comfortable.
100%.
And then hopefully just some of the stuff that you've done on your own and that we've talked about here is just like, it's not to avoid those things, but just catch yourself and realize, you know what, I've been doing this like 15 times today. Let me switch it to the other side just once to just integrate that. And then how about as you're planning on having more children?
Yeah.
Any, like, do you feel much more confident going into this pregnancy, future pregnancies, and like managing your curves?
Yes, I do. I feel like now that I've demystified the whole process for myself, I'm like, oh, this is not as scary, I guess.
Okay,
as I
cool.
thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
actually awesome. Yeah.
So then, carrying that over, do you have advice for our patients out there that are considering getting pregnant or have this type of concern? They want to have kids in the future. Any advice that you would have for them that as they're heading into this or contemplating this, talking about this with their medical team?
Yeah. So usually when you are diagnosed with scoliosis, you're going through the first part of maturity, which is getting your period. And the next time you'll go through a big body change is when you get pregnant. So it's kind of an interesting meeting of the two worlds. I would say it can be it was for me, and I was intentional about making it this way, and you can make it this way for yourself as well, a very healing experience to go through pregnancy and to think about my body as this vessel of life in a way where I was very proud of my femininity and very intentional about what exercises and different things I was doing every day to prepare myself for not just holding the pregnancy as it got bigger, but also delivering the baby, and then even now picking them up and everything, they don't get any lighter. So it really doesn't stop. So I think scoliosis actually gave me a huge advantage in the process of pregnancy and delivering a child. I didn't have any painkillers or anything at my birth. I didn't have an epidural. I was all natural, and I actually credit scoliosis to that because I was so meticulous and disciplined about my prep.
Awesome. You take care of yourself very well.
Yes.
I mean, you've been doing amazing here. Your lifestyle changes that you've done.
Thank you.
You stay on top of things. You make awesome corrections here. We went over squatting and deadlifting today for her just to kind of continue to work on load and body mechanics, encouraging strength. I just wish you continued success with your Schroth and managing your body, lasting health. It has been awesome working with you. Thank you so much for doing this and for sharing this. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, we're Schroth DC. We're located inside the National Scoliosis Center. Until next time.